A heist is underway and the police are informed. Who is the informer? The robbers. A bizarre band of robbers want the police to surround them while they are robbing a bank. A true story that has defied conventional wisdom. How long they took to plan the heist has never been known since the robbers vanished from the site like they never existed. The heist is rather a play written and directed by the robbers from the start till the end. The robbers engaged the police, created a catastrophic illusion, offered them magic terms, and secured an agreement. What then? A dramatic turn of events leaves the police absolutely baffled. Even unaware that the heist has ended, the police find themselves walking into the bank with empty vaults and without any trace of robbers. This is indeed the masterpiece of an audacious outlaw, a genius who displays ultimate precision in predicting every thought and every move of the law agents. An epic that truly marks a new era in the history of crimes. The heist is based on a principle: your opponent's weakness is your strength. One such weakness is offered by a microstate known as the Principality of Monaco. The state finds a competitive edge, attracting foreign investments and tourists rather than increasing domestic production. And they lure the aristocracy of the world by offering them safety, security, privacy, and freedom, rubbing its shoulders with France and Italy and wetting its lands with the waters of the Mediterranean Sea. On the southern end, the city-state is spread only over 2 kilometres. The world's second smallest country has supplied its lands with every facility that a man has ever designed for fulfilling desires. The desires ranging from diversion to eroticism. Casinos, a man-made beach, exquisite hotels, shopping complexes, and designers' stores. Nothing is excluded from the amenities of the area. With safety and security as its hallmark, the state has already attracted the global elite. Additionally, it has been made into a paradise for those who seek tax evasion. With the world's finest people dwelling on its land, the country is an epitome of luxury and opulence. The inhabitants are given the facility to keep their cash and other valuables in the vaults of a bank called the Royal Bank, which is modelled on the Swiss bank. No need to reveal the source of income. Accounts, account holders, and even the existence of accounts is to be kept secret. A rather ideal bank for depositing black money. It is the 11th of December of the year 1992. The sun has started shining on Monaco yet once more. The inhabitants of the region start their day like other ordinary days. Some are scurrying to their workplaces and some walk at a rather slower pace. Some are quiet while some are a bit noisy. Everyone is moving around in a fashion unique to them, unaware of the fact that the day they are living in will be engraved in the history of Monaco. Like other business, the Royal Bank also opens its doors to its employees. The staff has punched in and they have just started their routine work when they hear the door shut with an echo that resonates with an impending doom. The employees, numbering up to 90, are made hostages, and the bank is in control of robbers numbering up to 12. A message is conveyed on loudspeakers to the outside world. The bank is in control of murderous robbers, and the staff has been made hostages. In the next moment, the bank is surrounded by police, security, and law agents. The crowd has been pushed back to safety. Sharpshooters have taken their position on the top of the surrounding buildings and, like eagles, searching for a target. The police are super active, with their mouths fixed on the radios for messages they pass, their ears tuned in to the messages they receive, their heads nodding in complete agreement to the commands they get, and their eyes popped out of their faces because of the gravity of the situation. Inside, robbers are in control of everything, and the lives of hostages are at stake. The police start talking to the robbers through walkie-talkies, and they receive a strange message from the robbers, a message that surprises them and comforts them simultaneously. The robbers stipulate that Mr. Johnson be called to the site and negotiations be conducted through him. Johnson, of German descent, is well known in Monaco. He is a multi-millionaire who runs a shipping company in the little state. He is also a valued customer of the bank under attack. Having successfully handled kidnapping and robberies across Germany, he has earned himself a reputation as a skilled negotiator. As a man with a charismatic personality, he is always the centre of attention in social circles. And the enigmatic aura that he carries is felt by everyone, but no one ever dares to probe it. So Johnson is summoned. The higher authorities and the law agencies are much relieved with Johnson as mediator between them and the robbers, but they are absolutely naive to the fact that Johnson is indeed more an expert in developing crises than he is in resolving them. And there comes Johnson. The law agents are a little perplexed with the type of vehicle he drives in. Johnson brings a truck with him to the site. When asked about the reason for bringing the truck, Johnson explains that the interior of the truck has been designed for conducting complex negotiations. He carries on that negotiating under extremely tense situations demands an environment that is totally detached from the rest of the world. He further explains that such an environment helps him stay collected and composed. The law agents find it very characteristic of his mysterious personality, but they are rather impressed with his professionalism in negotiation. Negotiations start, but they soon take an unexpected turn. Johnson conveys the first demand from the robbers. The robbers demand that the police move away from the bank, and the robbers warn if they do not cooperate, the blood of the hostages will be on the hands of the authorities. Meanwhile, the police and crowd in the streets hear gunfire and shouts from within the building. The horrible sounds drown the whole area in dead silence. Police receive an order from the higher authorities to back off from the building. The higher authorities are intensely concerned about the reputation of the principality, whose name is symbolic of safety and security. This is because their economy is heavily dependent on foreign investments and tourism. The authorities are desperate to understand the true nature of the situation, and that is why Johnson's importance gains more and more weight. Johnson appears very calm, and his demeanor is extremely casual. The law agents and police start looking upon him as a shine of hope to bring the crisis to a peaceful end. Johnson once again engages the robbers. The robbers reiterate a complete absence of any activity close to the building and warn that the result of opposition will be beyond anyone's imagination. The robbers show ultimate conviction in putting forth their next demands. The demands defy conventional wisdom in such situations. It is because the bank has around £10 billion, whereas the robbers demand for an amount only to the tune of £10 million to be supplied by the authorities and not from the bank. They also ask for 2 boats to be made available in the sea to the rear of the bank. They further stipulate that they will wait until 9 o'clock to evacuate the building. They ensure they will leave without harming anyone and without damaging anything. At the same time, they also issue yet another warning that if they are followed, they will kill the hostages and destroy the whole structure of the building. These demands clarify one thing, that the robbers have done their homework very well, and their terms are part of a well thought out scheme. But the law agents fail to figure out the true motive behind them. The authorities agree, or at least appear to agree to their terms, for at stake are the lives of the hostages and the fame of the country. The risk is too high to take chances, so the boats are provided. When it comes to handing over the cash, the robbers once again put a condition, and that condition has once again surprised the law agents. The robbers announce that Johnson will bring the cash to the bank inside. They further add that Johnson can be accompanied by a police officer if he wants. The robbers appear extremely desperate to get what they want, and the authorities appear extremely concerned about the life of Johnson and the police officer, but they cannot afford to offend the robbers either. So counselling ensues outside the bank, views are exchanged, alternatives are weighed, and finally, it is decided that Johnson will go alone inside the building since the robbers seem less hostile to Johnson. Johnson agrees and enters the bank with a bag of cash with him. Now both the conditions are fulfilled, and the clock is about to strike 9 in the night. Tension has gripped everyone. The police force is already gauging different scenarios. Their next move is contingent on the developing situation, and the clock has struck 9. The crowd appears mute with their eyes crammed with horror. There is a sinister silence. Tension is prevailing in every corner of the area. The climax of a melodrama is about to occur. The entire police force is alert with their bodies extremely stiff and their gaze fixed on every exit of the bank. They are super conscious about even a tiny movement in the area. They wait and wait and wait. But nothing happens even after 10 o'clock. They do not hear anything from the robbers. They wait for another hour, but still there is no movement. They do not dare go inside because of life threats to the hostages. They try to communicate with the robbers, but they do not get any response. Their wait continues until the next day. Around 6 in the following morning, they hear a weak voice. It is an employee of the bank who happened to find a walkie-talkie left behind by the robbers, and he informs the authorities that there is no one in the bank aside from the staff who were taken hostage the previous day. Is this a trick? Or does he speak the truth? The police and law agents have to make yet another critical decision with their stomach churning in pain. We have got to get in, is what they decide. They have to put an end to the security crisis that has halted the whole nation, so they enter the bank in a very discreet manner, ever alert to engage in gunfire. But they find themselves moving in a building that echoes their footsteps and every single sound they make. It is like wilderness, a sharp contrast to the chaotic atmosphere they encountered the previous day. The robbers appear to have evaporated. Where did they go? Is the question that is wobbling the mind of every police and law agent. Since they have cleared the rest of the building, they decide to go down to the basement where the vaults are built, believing that the robbers are definitely hiding there. Once again, they summon every ounce of the energy that's left in them and drop down to the dens with a supreme martial technique. But they get yet another shock. No sign of robbers! The vaults stand absolutely empty, their contents are gone. And what intrigues them is a hole in the basement. A hole that leads to a tunnel, and the tunnel ends at a spot in the sea where a small submarine was noticed the previous day. The boats they asked for were anchored in a direction away from the submarine. Now they start making sense of everything, and it is revealed to them that the gunfire, shouts, threats, and negotiations were nothing but illusions crafted by none but their very negotiator, Mr. Johnson. The hindsight wisdom disclosed that it was not simply a heist but a well-composed play, rather an interplay of life threats to hostages, damage to the fame of Monaco, credibility of the negotiator, deceptive terms of negotiation, wrong expectations, and hidden tunnels. And Johnson was the architect of the whole affair. They knew that the authorities would go to the last extent to preserve the state's credibility in providing safety to its residents, and therefore the police did not enter the building. On the contrary, they yielded to the robbers' demand and moved away from the bank. The demands they put forth were well calculated. Instead of claiming the entire wealth in the bank, they asked for a fraction of it, and not from the bank, but to be supplied from outside the bank. It is because they knew that the state did not want to offend the bank customers, and therefore the authorities swiftly agreed. Next, they asked for boats and a route for escape at midnight with life threats to the hostages if they were followed. The life threats and the midnight time established the seriousness of their intention to evacuate the building. The boats and their location failed the police to notice the submarine. Johnson also established the impression that he had won the confidence of the robbers, and therefore the authorities decided to let him take the cash, presuming that he would not be harmed. Now, with the cash gone, with the thieves gone, the authorities had to preserve their prestige and national ego, so they decided to cover up the story in order to keep their goodwill intact. The account holders were compensated for a portion of their deposits. Word is spread that most of the account holders could not raise their voices because they could not produce the money trail for their deposits, and it is because they had their black money hidden in the vaults of the Royal Bank. The stolen cash and the thieves appear as if they have ceased to exist. Their whereabouts are a mystery to date. No one knows where they went and how they benefited from the loot, but they have certainly helped law agencies explore new dimensions in criminology.